boxes Chaz in as a three-point shooter. How do you evaluate his ability to drive and score at the rim, and how much do you want more of that from him?
We do, we talk about him, one, the way he's being guarded, what's going to be available to him. And that's part of our job as coaches, to let him know what part of the course he's going to be able to attack in situations where he's going to catch the ball most of the time. And but obviously everything his game is set up with is the fact he's such a terrific shooter. But I think what he's learning is that space that he's getting from and it's important his teammates screen to get him some space, but he's got to be ready to take advantage of that right away, as opposed to maybe stringing it out, and I think he's getting better there. And with that, when they start, those gaps close up quicker, he's going to have to be able to use his acceleration to get through those gaps quicker.
What do you guys need to be able to do to get off to a little bit quicker starts offensively?
Well, you know what? We go back and look. We started the game with good shots. Again, we talk about you can't. Believe me, they want to make every shot they shoot. We want to see every shot go in. But as long as we take the shots that we practice, that's all we can do. And there's nights every team goes through it, and at the start of the game, you got to understand too that the other team's prepared for a lot. They've prepared, and the emotion, the effort, all that's at a very high level, and so it's difficult going both ways. But some of it has to do with the other team's guarding you extremely hard, and you don't get much separation, and shots might be contested, but you have to work hard on the offensive end, but you still just can't let down defensively, and got to again go back to the fundamentals, take care of all the details that we can, and just try to keep ourselves in position to stay in the game, and hopefully we start making some shots.
The other day, Josiah was like, I'm a hooper, I've always been a hooper. How much have you seen maybe his work when it comes to that three-point shot or his jumper kind of take the next step these last few weeks?
He has. He's played, he works. I mean, he was in the day after the game, if we're not doing much, he's always in there. He's a guy that will come back and night. He knows what he needs to do. He's matured as a player to where he understands his routine, what he needs to do, what he's got to do to stay locked into those things. And he's no different than any other player. Every game's going to be different for him. They got to adjust. Some people like to back off and try to maybe close gaps more with him. But I thought he was great the other night. I thought he played one of his better games in terms of his focus. He was aggressive. He took the slack out, and we love it when he drives the ball, and we like it when people don't guard him, because he's so unselfish. He's going to use that as a way to go get his teammates open. He can make out of it, but that's his maturity and where he's learned to play and adjust to whatever comes his way.
Last year you guys played a pretty quick tempo. This year you're kind of slowing it down a little more. What's kind of gone into playing a little slower pace this year?
No, we're not. We haven't tried to slow it down. You got to give the opponents credit for that. I mean, that's not us. We want to play fast, and our opponent wants us to knows we want to play fast, so they're not going to let us play fast. So whether they come in, run back, send 2, 3, 4 guys. We played teams this year that didn't even try to offensive rebound. They just ran everybody back. We've played some teams that might rebound 2, might rebound 1. So we haven't changed. We've had the same system that we've always had. We want to run, we want to play fast, we want to score early, and when things aren't going the way we want to do it, you got to give credit to our opponents. I mean, they're not going to let us do what we practice at the highest level that we want to, and so we want to play fast. We're going to always try to play fast. We're going to try to get easy baskets if we can, because we respect our opponent, knowing that they're going to work hard. They want to win too, and they're going to do everything they can to put themselves in a position to keep us from doing what we do well, and not give up easy baskets, all those type things. And so that's what makes the game what it is. You're fighting an opponent that wants to win just as much as you want to win.
How do you combat that then and be the team that dictates the pace?
Well, it's not that they dictate the pace. You still have to go. You're still trying to push the ball. You got to move the defense. But when a team, if someone wants to send back 5 players, that means they're saying, hey, we're going to concede offensive rebounds, and we're going to get back and want you to have to slow you down, because they're trying to build a wall back there. And then that's where you got to get into moving the ball, get it going side to side, execute. You got to screen. You got to keep your gaps. You got to, again, playing good offense is hard. It's there's a difference in running offense and playing offense, and we want to play offense, and whatever the team's doing, we want to be able to read and react to it. But again, it's just, we know that our opponent's trying to keep us from doing what we want to do, as we're trying to do that to them.
How impressive is what Mark Byington's been able to do with basically a whole brand new roster at Vanderbilt?
Mark's done a great job. You know, a lot of respect for Mark, and the fact, I mean, you know, I got to start like he did at George Mason, James Madison at one time. That was a big rivalry back in the day. That when I was at George Mason, that was our biggest rivalry at Madison, and they were really good, obviously a good basketball team then, and he did a great job there. And I think he's done a great job going into the portal quickly and getting guys the way he wants to play. You know, they're very aggressive. They create a lot of havoc. Really heavy gap team that they really go for steals. They really turn you over, and I'm impressed with what he's done. I really am, and I'm not surprised. Just a little bit I've been around him. You know, you can tell he believes in what he wants to do and how he wants to play, and being able to do what he's done up to this point is really he deserves a lot of credit for a lot of it.
He said you called him after he got that job. What was kind of the message there, and what did you say to him?
Well, you know, it goes back years ago when, you know, when I first went into the Big East. I remember to this day the coaches that, as soon as I got there, I was young. I was a lot younger than him, obviously, but I'd only been a head coach 1 year. And guys that just said, hey, you're going to be okay. But I've always meant something to me. So when new guys have come in the league, I've always tried to call them. And again, I've got respect for guys that have built where he is, the way he's come up, you know, because it's the path that I've probably been through. But and I'm happy for our league, because you look at our league. I've always said I think there's been great coaches in this league, and I really believe that. But I want this to be the best basketball league in the country, and I think it's a great hire for Vanderbilt. And I just, again, the way he's gone about doing it, it shows you that they made a great decision.
How much have your assistants just really helped you pull this team together this season, from Coach Gainey, GAs, GP, just really working behind the scenes at practice? Can you kind of share what those guys have done to help pull this team and push them in the right direction?
You know, that's a great question, because they do, we wouldn't be where we are without those guys. I mean, I think I've got the very best coaching staff in the country, and I think what makes them great is that they get up every day with the idea that, you know, what can we do to make this program better today? What can we do to help our guys get better today? I think we've got a group of guys, you know, Coach Gainey, Coach Polinsky, and Coach Clark. Those guys, obviously, you know, on the road some too, but the connection that they continue to keep even when they're not here, and that's, you know, mostly they're here obviously, but our support staff. You guys have been around our program long enough to know what Mary Carter does for our program. I mean, we're all in it together, you know, and that is the truth. And it starts, I mean, our players know that and it starts really with the everyday consistency of doing things the right way. But this program is not about me, believe me. It's what those guys do every single day with their players, and to prepare them to get ready for every game. And again, without question, I think that we have the best coaching staff in the country, or I do, with my assistant coaches, because how much they care about what we do here and how we do it.
Where's Bishop at right now?
Getting better, you know. He's still got a little problem with his shoulder. You know, that as does Cade. When you get hit like that, it can take some time. But you know, Bishop's tough. He's tough. He's going to he'll figure it out. But we're going to need him. I keep saying that to you all. I need him. I don't know when and where. We need him because of where we are, and as long as he'll continue to work. And again, we don't worry one bit about his competitive spirit or his toughness. It's just, again, him learning how to do what we need to done him at this level, and he'll get there. There's no question he will.
Outside of just getting healthy, where would you like to see Bishop progress this season?
Understanding, I mean, you know, he's our system. You know, he's coming in where, you know, there's a lot of older guys, and it's always a major jump, but it's not easy having to go against Zakai Ziegler and Jordan Gainey. Guys have played a lot, and you know, it's a learning curve that takes place. Really, when you're talking about, he spent most all summer trying to really learn the point, which is without question the hardest position on the court. But he's learning there's a whole lot more to it, and like every young player, there's just so much more to it than they can imagine. But he hasn't backed away from it. Some of it has to do with young guys breaking habits. Some of it has to do with rewiring your mind in terms of, you know, this is how I did play, but this is how we play. All that comes into it, but his attitude and the way he goes about it, he's what this program's about.
You guys are going from being one of the tallest teams in the nation to one of the smallest size-wise teams in the nation. What kind of challenges does that present when you're facing contrasting sizes in back-to-back games?
Well, what it does, every game we talk about, it takes on its own, you know, personality, takes on its own challenge, and they play really hard. They play really hard. They're quick, they're fast, aggressive, and they're going to battle. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to play this game. What we were talking about earlier, they know how they want to play. They know what they need to do. They'll have a game plan. We'll have to have our game plan, and then it gets down to you have to execute it, knowing that I think both teams have a great deal of respect. In this league, I think everybody's got a great deal of respect for this league, and knowing that night in and night out, you got to be ready to go, or it won't turn out well for you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.